Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Beyond Release Notes, unveiling the new automated release notes and reports app for Jira. We are excited to have you all here today as we uncover a significant development in how you can enhance your Jira experience. Do you know that according to a recent study, companies which leverage automated release management tools experience 20% reduction in the deployment time and 20% increase in stakeholder satisfaction? This underscores the growing importance of not just managing releases effectively, but also communicating them clearly and engagingly. In line with this trend, we have rebranded our app from automated release notes for Jira to automated release notes and reports for Jira. This isn't just a change in the name, it's a significant change in the expansion of this entire app. While we continue to help you create and manage detailed release notes, we have now added powerful reporting capabilities to help you engage better with your stakeholders and make data-driven decisions. Today, we'll dive into what this rebranding means for you and how you can harness these new capabilities to streamline your entire workflow and boost productivity. To guide us through this entire journey of this rebranding of our app, I'm joined by my colleague Sujit Patak, who is our senior product manager, who plays an instrumental role in shaping this entire app. So I would like to welcome Sujit, who will help us to know more about this app. Welcome, Sujit, to this session.
Yes. Yeah, Mithila, thank you so much for the welcome. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm so glad here to be here. And of course, we'll be discussing some of the wonderful new things that we have been doing in the automated release notes and reports app.
Great. Let's kick things off by talking about something that's been on everyone's mind, the recent rebranding of our app. So, Sujit, can you share with us what inspired the rebranding of this app?
So, like you mentioned, Mithila, our app was called earlier Automated Release Notes for Jira. And like the name suggests, it focused on, automating the entire process of release notes generation and distribution. Uh, the main feature within the app was its template builder, which helps you to create reusable templates for your release notes. And because this is an add-on for Jira, so it naturally integrates completely with Jira's capabilities, and it can fetch relevant details from your Jira tickets, your versions, your sprints, and create a good looking release notes document in different formats like email, PDF, and Confluence, PowerPoint, HTML. Now, in the template builder that we have built, it has now grown into a very mature template builder, over the years. And one of the main features of these template builders is the JQL section, which helps you to fetch data from your Jira tickets, any kind of data. So over the period, what we have realized is that this inherent feature of JQL section, which works on the basic JQL query language of Jira, but we have tweaked it with support of variables. So it becomes a reusable JQL where you can feed, variable data and create fetch different types of data every time you run that particular template form. Now with this JQL section, gives you the power to fetch any kinds of data from your release from your Jira tickets into your template. And this nature of this JQL section and its dynamic nature, gives you power to use this template builder not only for release notes, but in the inside you can use it for other use cases like report generation. And what we have realized over the years is that many of our existing users and our customers were actually using it for that purpose, where they were using our template builders to create and distribute different types of reports, automate those reports. So in a typical software development life cycle, there are a lot of rituals or meetings that you follow over the period, like pre-release meeting is there, grooming meetings are there, then there are release planning meetings are there, and for all these rituals you generally need data to be extracted from your Jira tickets and then to be presented in those meetings and then take some decisions around it. And we have found that many of our users or customers found it very difficult to do these kind of activities repeatedly, extracting data from Jira tickets and then create reports around that. And ARN's inherent template builder, they found it very easy to automate this report building and distribution things. And that's what kicked the ideation where we can actually expand the use cases of our app, where we can not just serve the release notes, which is our niche market, but at the same time we can also focus on these report building capabilities and enhance the capabilities and overall look and feel of our app, so that our users, many of our older power users had figured it out over the years of use, but now we want even our new users to understand how this app can be leveraged not only for release notes but even for the reports generation and automation. So that's what actually the thought process behind the rebranding of app from automated release notes for Jira to automated release notes and reports for Jira.
Thank you. Thank you for those insights. It's very interesting to understand that, you actually look into what the customers are using the app, how they are actually leveraging it to do much more than the release notes. And that's a very good hook for you to, to pick that up and, use it to expand it. That's very
Yes.
interesting. And, I must say that, the strategic behind this rebranding is very thoughtful. Thanks for helping us understand the entire thought process. Now that we have understood the why the name change was there, let's explore the how with some of the new features and the functionalities which have been added to this app. So as I was going through the app, I found out one exciting addition with this rebranding, which is the introduction of new templates in the template category. Could you walk us through the types of templates that are now available and how users can customize them to fit to their specific needs?
Yeah, sure. So, like you mentioned, Mithila, we have been, focusing on introducing newer types of templates.
Mm-hmm.
So we recently introduced Microsoft PowerPoint template. Then we also introduced Word template. So
Mm-hmm.
these new types of templates have been we have been introducing at regular interval. But one thing that we realized that creating a template from scratch is a pain. Basically, someone has to spend considerable time to actually get a good looking output out of the current template builder. And with this thought in mind and the earlier response that I gave you, that we wanted our even our new users to understand the report building capabilities of this app, we
Mm-hmm.
have now introduced a whole new template gallery
Mm-hmm.
which has ready to use templates in different formats.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get a clean slate while creating a new template. You can have those ready to use templates readily available to you. You can just use them as they are and just customize them for your use, like for example just customize the variables used in it in those templates, or customize the logos that have been added, customize the JQL to suit your data capabilities, and just use it out of box. That's how easy it can be done with the help of these ready to use templates in the template gallery. And we have started it from June onwards, where we are introducing newer templates in the template gallery, which address to different use cases. So, like I mentioned earlier, there are different types of reports that any
Mm-hmm.
professional require. Like there is a product manager, they require certain sorts of reports. over the period. Then there is an engineering manager who requires some other types of reports.
Correct.
So we are now focusing on introducing these as many ready to use reports as possible, which address to different use cases, for different types of professional in a typical organization. So I'll just quickly share my screen and
Okay.
show our audience how this template gallery looks like and what kind of reports and release notes can be generated using those templates. So I have my screen is visible.
Yeah, it's loading.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
this is our application, automated release notes and reports. And this is the template tab where you see all your templates that you have created. This is our app. Within the templates, you can see the template gallery option where you can see ready to use templates. And if you click on explore more, you will see all other types of templates that are available. So like I mentioned earlier, for different use cases, we have introduced different templates. For example, this is a sprint review report, which is generally used during the pre-release or even during the sprint duration. There are general tracking of all the issues that are being used, being worked on within a sprint. You can create a ready-to-use report using this report. And there's a release planning report, weekly customer support report. So if you are using ARN within a JSM project, Jira Service Management project, your customer success manager create a weekly, customer support report quickly using this report. Then there's a version workload report. Then there are a few release notes templates which support within the Confluence and then for PowerPoint. So you can notice there are a bunch of reports and release notes templates that we have made available. And we have weekly release credits in ARN. So every week we are adding new templates here. So I will just show some sample reports that have been generated from ARN. So like I mentioned, this is a sprint review report in PDF format. So such reports can be generated out of box without spending too much time on it for your sprints. Then there is a this. I think this is a release planning report. This is a release notes actually. It's our own release notes which have been generated from gallery. So this type of release notes in a PDF or email or Confluence, you can generate via ARN. There is a separate repository that we are maintaining in our documentation, which shows you different types of release notes that are generated via ARN. So this link is available in our documentation where users can actually see the types of reports and release notes that we are generating using ARN, and you can even download them, this sample. I can also show you some PowerPoint reports. So these are the different types of reports and release notes that have been generated. So this template is readily available in the template gallery. You don't have to create this type of PowerPoint or PDF templates from scratch. The design is available. And the only thing that you will have to do is just navigate to the template gallery, choose the design of your choice, click on use, and the template will be loaded in the template gallery. And now you have the template gallery. You just have to customize it for your use. For example, you can customize the JQL so that you can fetch only those type of issues that you want to fetch in this particular JQL section. So this type of customizations you can do and directly you start using this template. That's how easy it is using the template gallery. And like I mentioned, over the period of next few months, we are aiming to build this robust template gallery where you will have hundreds of such use templates available for your disposal, and you can use it out of box.
Great. So these reports, I mean, these templates can be, in which are the different formats? You said PDF, PPT, and any other. What are the other formats which are supported by these templates?
So this template gallery currently has templates for PDF, email, PowerPoint, and Confluence. These are the
Okay.
most used types of templates. But like I
Mhm.
mentioned, we are also trying to introduce templates for all other types of templates which are generally used. So we'll be soon adding some templates for Slack, then for Word templates. So all other
Okay.
types that we support, there will be ready to use templates in the template gallery.
Okay. That's great. That's great. It's clear that these templates will offer flexibility and ease of use, making the release process smoother for everyone, I believe, who's involved in this entire process. Right? Thanks for sharing those insights. Speaking of making processes smoother, let's talk about how users can stay on top of their release activities, right? So decision making is something which we do when we are in the process of doing these releases. So the dashboards play a crucial role in providing a snapshot of ongoing activities and the trends. So how do the new dashboard in this app will help users make more informed decisions during the entire release management process? Could you please help us understand about this functionality of dashboards in the app?
Right. So, we have found over the years that, when fairly larger organization, when they use our app,
Mhm.
uh, there is a certain way in which they use it. There are some templates which are used organization wide. So there are global templates, then there are local templates. They have multiple projects. So there are few templates which are specific to a certain project, and there are few templates which are global in nature, which are being shared by multiple projects. And typically, their release managers or people like uh, product managers, they generally try to drive this entire activity within their organization for release notes in particular. And when you have a larger set of audience who are using this app, they need some tracking where which are the templates that are being used, which are the rules that are being triggered on a regular basis, what has been the rule execution status over the last few months or last some days. And these are the stats that they would like to indulge into time to time, so that they can track all the activities on track, and whether everyone is using what the process has been set for. And for that, in our mind, what we have now started is we have introduced a new dashboard tab within the application. Again, I will share my screen to show you the dashboard. So this is the dashboard tab, new dashboard tab that we have introduced just recently, and there are
Mhm.
few widgets that we have added. So you can see top 5 most used templates, top 5 most used rules, then rule
Mhm.
execution status in last 90 days. What has been the status if your rules are repeatedly failing? Then there must be some problem with the integrations. So this kind of data is readily available now within the in project screen of our application. But like I mentioned, this is just the start. What we are now aiming to do is we want to showcase all type of data that is available with us to our users,
Mhm.
so that they can use the app more profoundly. So this dashboard is currently available within the in project screen of our app. So
Okay.
the respective project managers can actually track activities for that particular project in from this tab. But
Okay.
soon we are also aiming to introduce similar tab for our admins. So
Okay.
if someone wants to see similar type of stats at organization level across all projects, then they
Mhm.
will be able to see similar reports and stats from their admin screen. So that's the thought process behind it. This is just the start. We have started with
Okay.
these 3 or 4 more gadgets here, and we'll be
Okay.
introducing gadgets over the period of next few months. Uh,
Okay.
Having said that, dashboard is a separate tab where you will see the usage pattern of the application. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, within the individual, tabs, like for example, in the rules tab as well, we have introduced some new columns. For example, we introduced this last used column, actions column, and last modified date.
Mm-hmm.
This type of data points gives you a clear picture of usage. For example, you can, just at a glance, you can see how many actions that are there in this particular rule. You don't have to necessarily navigate within the rule to see what are the actions in the rule. Then when this
Understood.
rule was last used, so with this column you can actually find out which are the stale rules which have not been used over the last few months or last few years.
Got
You
it.
can get rid of them so that you can clean up your data, keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
Last modified date, who modified that rule. These are the types of data points generally required in some cases. Like for example, there is some inadvertent change in the rule or the template, and you want to find out who had modified it recently. You can identify those type of data points. So these data points were available in our database. We are now starting to make them available to our users so that they can use
Okay.
the app in a better way, and they can also keep their data in a more cleaner manner. So
Understood. So
that's
is this the
another way.
dashboard data? Is this for example, does it have any filter wherein if I want to see the dashboard for, let's say, 1 quarter, let's say, and if I want to download it, is that functionality available, or it is in the pipeline, or you all have thought about it?
Yes, so it is in the pipeline, like I mentioned. For the
Mm-hmm.
admins, initially we will be providing that export option where they can export all sorts of data that they have in the app, and they can analyze it separately within Excel. So that type of export functionality will be available to the admins initially, and slowly we'll also introduce, like I mentioned, these are the just two or three or
Starting
four
point.
gadgets that we have introduced at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually add a few more gadgets. We'll also add a few filters here, like you mentioned. You can see
Mm-hmm.
the duration and all the stuff here.
Great. Understood. I think this is a very good starting point for people to get a glance of, the insights and, all the details if they want to have a look at one go. I think that can, improve the team's efficiency also, right?
Right.
And now for those who use, as we are moving ahead, for those who use Confluence, I think there is something interesting. The integration that's worth discussing here, which is an added advantage for this app. So I understand there's this helper app which is designed to enhance the experience for the Confluence users. Could you elaborate on how this app works and what benefit it brings to the table?
Good. So, around a year and a half back, we launched a connector app for Confluence. So, ARN has its own sister app in Confluence Marketplace called Automated Release Notes and Reports, Confluence Helper app. It's a
Uh-huh.
free app, and you can download it and install it on your Confluence instance, and then
Mhm.
connect your Confluence instance with ARN to publish
Okay.
your release notes and reports to Confluence.
Confluence. Okay.
Uh, Publishing release notes and reports to Confluence was available even prior to the Helper app. But the reason that we introduced it was Confluence came up with their new editor experience within Confluence,
Mhm.
and after that they slowly started deprecating their legacy editor, and the Confluence templates that we had within ARN app in Jira earlier were supporting that legacy editor from Confluence. And with the new experience that Confluence had provided within the new editor, that was not possible to replicate within our Jira app, because it's a Confluence's own editor which can be embedded right there in our Jira app. So what we have done here is that we have now allowed users to create their Confluence templates right within Confluence using that Confluence's new editor. So all the capabilities of the Confluence's latest new editor, and what are the new capabilities that they will introduce in the future, they will be inherently available in those Confluence templates that the users will create for here. While doing so, what we have done is we have introduced some macros there, which users can use to make it dynamic. So I'll just quickly again share my screen and
Sure.
show you how the typical Confluence template would look like.
Okay.
So this is the Confluence marketplace where you will find these automated release notes reports helper app for Confluence,
Mhm.
which you have to install and connect it with your Jira ARN app in Jira. Once that initial one-time setup is ready, then you can start using this app. So basically you can create a ARN template within Confluence and
Mhm.
directly this. So this is one of the examples of the template that we have available in our template gallery. So this is a release notes template. You can see this is a normal Confluence page which is being used as a template, and within the you can see there are some variables that are supported by ARN that have been
Mhm.
used. Then there is a status macro. So Confluence has their own status macro, but we have now introduced our own corresponding status macro, which supports ARN's variable. So this is a status macro, but with ARN's variable. So you can't use this ARN variable within the native Confluence macro, but we have introduced the corresponding macro for that Confluence macro. Same way for the date macro, you will notice there is a variable that is used. So this is ARN's date macro, which is in line with the Confluence's date macro, but it can use ARN's variables. Then there are some JQL sections. So like I mentioned, these JQL sections allow you to create JQLs with variables. And when you use this template, they will be replaced by the Jira data that has been fetched from your JQL section configuration. So this is the template, a sample template of release notes, and I will just show you the output that has been created using this template. So this is the output
Okay.
you created via that template that we just saw. So you will notice this is a status macro, but
Mhm.
the value is now replaced. The variable has been replaced with actual version name. The variable has been replaced with actual release date here in the date macro. And
Okay.
same way you can see the JQL section, the first JQL section has been replaced with the release notes for the new features and improvements, and the second JQL section has been replaced with the release notes for bug fixes that have been included in this particular release. So
Okay.
this is how you can you can convert any Confluence page into an ARN template, and then
Mhm.
use that Confluence page as a template. So a new Confluence rule action that we have introduced, where you can connect your Confluence pages as template under this destination, under this source template configuration, and under the destination page configuration, you can configure where you want to publish this the output page. So your input page, your template can come from one space, and output can actually go into the another space in your Confluence. So that's how you can use Confluence with the help of this helper app uh, to create
Okay.
different types of templates for not just the release notes but even for different reports as well.
So this entire layout is editable. I mean, I just saw the page which you showed me, wherein you have bugs separate and you've edited the features separately. So this
Yes,
entire configuration, this is configurable, right?
it's Central. So yeah, I can show you different versions of the same. So this one
Okay.
we just saw. So if I have to see, this is another version of same release note. So you will notice in this case, the JQL sections are not side by side. They are added one after
Just
another.
one below the other. Yeah.
Right. There any type of layout that you can create which Confluence supports inherently, and you can
Mm-hmm.
utilize those. like I mentioned, the Confluence's new editor has a lot of interesting capabilities, and you can leverage
Okay.
all those capabilities to create different types of reports and release notes for different types of layouts. These are the same release notes are being published in different layouts. I'm just showing them on the screen. Uh, Now, if you notice, all these pages that I just showed you, they are
Mm-hmm.
dedicated release notes for a single release. But there is
Correct.
also notes templates which can add multiple release notes on a single page. So this is using expand macro. So I can actually show you the
Okay.
output of this running release notes. So you can see release notes of multiple releases are being
Mm-hmm.
published on a single page. So every time there is a new release notes for that release gets appended to this particular page. So this is an expand macro of Confluence, and within that expand macro, you will see the release notes of that particular release. So in our Confluence rule action, there is an option for you to create append or prepend action. So using that, you can
Okay.
you know create a single release notes document for multiple releases.
Understood. Okay. Thank you, Sujit, for breaking that down and explaining in detail. I'm very much sure, this Confluence integration will add a layer of convenience for all the users who are using Confluence. Uh,
Yes.
Moving forward, let's discuss how AI is reshaping the way the release notes are managed. So, talking about AI, we've seen AI has transformed various industries, and release management is no exception. So, how do the AI-driven features in this app improves the entire release management process? What are the different things which AI-related things have been added to this app? Could you guide us through that?
So, so AI capabilities have been introduced in our app for last 6, 7, 8 months now. Uh, Prior to that, our app was majorly, capable of drafting your release notes or reports and publishing, like through rule automation. You can automate the publishing part of,
Mm-hmm.
distribution of your release notes and reports to different stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
But in a typical release notes process, there is a first step that happens, that is writing your release notes.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no direct solution that was available within the app earlier. With the introduction of AI, we have now addressed even that part of release notes process as well, where you can take help from AI to write your release notes. So there are
Mm-hmm.
different ways that we have introduced it. We have introduced a separate generator where you can, feed in, input to AI and ask it to rephrase or summarize it, create a good looking release notes out of that. You can also write a first version of your release notes on your own and then ask AI to improve it with actual, good looking and uh,
Well,
output which matches your brand's tone and other grammatical things. And then within the templates as well, we have introduced a summary generator where you can feed in multiple Jira issues data to the AI, and it can come up with the summary of those issues. So you can generate a summary of or description of your versions out of box using that AI macro within your templates. So I will just quickly demo the generator that we have to just quickly understand how AI can be leveraged within this app. Write your release notes. So here is the generator tab that we have. In this generator tab, typically what you do is you feed in a JQL to it, which fetches certain Jira tickets from your project.
mm-hmm.
Then you instruction to the AI. Like for example, what is the input field that the AI is supposed to read? So you can select any type of a field that you have where you can have a basic description of that particular task which AI can refer to. Then you can select an output field where you want to save your output, the AI generated output to. Then you can give certain instruction like what is the action that you want the AI to do. Like do you want them to summarize the input data, or do you want them to rephrase the input data? And you can also choose the tone of the output, like whether it should be professional, casual, or humorous. What is the size of the output that you are expecting? You can choose the number of words here. And you can also choose language. What is the language in which you want this output to be? Now, these are the some custom, configuration that we have provided. But if you don't want this type of selection and you want to write your own prompt, you can also go for this custom prompt option. I will, showcase that as well in the second tab. So now, what in this particular screen, what I have done is I have provided some release note. I have already written some release notes and stored them in this particular field called description for release notes, and I want them to be converted into a humorous tone. So,
Okay.
I've just given that input to the AI. So I just want to rephrase the existing input and I want the output in the humorous tone,
Cool.
limited to 50 words. And that's what I have done here. I just click on generate. So based on all the tickets that are written by this particular JQA, the AI has fetched the Jira issues from your Jira project and fed it to the AI generator. And now this is the output that AI has provided against each of those issues. I can read through them. If I want to modify anything, I can modify them here. And
Okay.
then I can choose what I want to do while saving this output. So there are three options here. I can choose to do any no change here. So if or I can use the suggestion that is provided by AI and as it by the AI as it is, or I can choose to save whatever the modified input that I have provided to my output field.
Mhm.
And this is, you can use the generator tab to generate or rephrase release notes for multiple issues at one go. Another example, like I mentioned, you can use your own custom prompt. So for example, what I am trying to do here is I already have the description with me. I want to generate a summary for every issue for my release notes. And in the summary, I want a relevant emoji to be added so
Okay.
that to be more attractive. And I have just added the prompt in such a way. I have also given some sample summaries for AI to understand what type of summary that I want. And I have given the JQL. And when I click on generate, based on my input field and my prompt, the AI has provided me a single line summary for each of my issue, which I can use it straight away within my release notes. So different use cases are there because of the custom prompt. There are unlimited possibilities. It depends on how creatively you can use
Use
this.
the AI functionality.
Right? You can give any type sorts of instruction to AI. Soon we are also going to introduce some prompt gallery here. So some ready to use prompts for different use cases will be available for our users. So they can experiment it in more creative way.
I think this is going to be really helpful for the users. It is definitely going to be, make the entire process faster and smoother as well.
Right.
This is amazing. Any which ways, AI is a game changer these days for whatever work you do. So I'm very much sure this is going to help the entire, users who are going to leverage this feature. Thanks for explaining that in detail. Now let's look at another aspect that saves teams a lot of time by end-to-end automation. So this has been one of the standout benefits of the app, right? It provides end-to-end automation in creating and distribution of release notes.
Right.
Can you explain how the entire automation feature works and how it helps to save the time of the teams?
Definitely. So, if I have to go by our app's name, and the app's name is Automated Release Notes and Reports. So we have been talking about release notes and reports, mainly about the templates and all those stuff. But the starting point is automated, and the automation lies in our rules feature, which helps
Correct.
you to create automation around the distribution of your release notes and reports to different stakeholders. So, again, I will just, it's better I will share my screen and explain it on the screen itself. So the rule automation basically supports you to automate your release notes tasks. So I'll just, this is a one of the release notes rule that we have for our own app. And you will notice this is the configuration. This particular rule can have multiple actions. So you can
Mm-hmm.
see there are around 6 actions that have been added. There are couple of Confluence action, couple of release page action, and couple of widgets action.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one click, I can run this rule, and I can select the version for which I want to run this rule for. And with this just one click, I can publish release notes in these 6 formats: two Confluence release notes pages, two release pages, and two widgets. So for us, we are using Confluence release pages and widgets, but you can notice there are all sorts of channels that are available here. I can add Slack, I can add LinkedIn via this social media action. I can add announcement to my JSM. I can post a PDF release notes or a PowerPoint release notes to an external endpoint in a repository. And then I can send out emails to my stakeholders about the release that is
Mm-hmm.
happening. So just one click, one single rule, you can publish your release notes and reports in these many formats at one go. That's the first part of automation, where you get an ease of publishing your release notes and reports. The second part of automation is, suppose you don't want to come here and click on this run button. You want it to happen automatically. Then there are
Okay.
some automated triggers that are available. So you can notice there, this particular rule is set to manual trigger. That's why I'm able to trigger it manually here. But let's say you are using versions in Jira, and as soon as your version is marked as released in Jira, you want your release notes to be published to all the stakeholders out there. So you can create a rule with this trigger called version release, and whenever a version is marked as release in this particular project, this rule will get triggered. You don't have to navigate to ARN and publish it manually. The rule will get automatically triggered, and release notes and reports, whatever that is, they will be published to all sorts of outputs that you have configured here.
Okay.
Suppose there is a use case, for example, every Monday morning you have some sync meeting with multiple
Mm-hmm.
stakeholders.
Mm-hmm.
And before that meeting, you want to share certain type of report with all
Mm-hmm.
those stakeholders so that they can refer to that report before joining in to the meeting. So you can schedule, or you can create a template for that particular report, which will fetch real-time data from your Jira tickets, and then use that template in a rule which is triggered at a certain credence. So you can use this schedule, sorry, not this one, schedule at interval type of trigger, where every Monday morning 9 a.m. your report will be delivered in the inboxes of all the stakeholders who are supposed to join that meeting. So they will have a real-time data available with them automatically. No one has to start early, create that report and share with all those stakeholders before they join the meeting. So this type of automations can be introduced. Schedule before end days of release. So let's say you want to send some reminder emails to your
Mm-hmm.
internal teams, like this release is scheduled to be released on this particular date and 5 days are remaining, and this is the status of all the tasks that are included in the release. So that type of reports can be created in ARN templates, and then they can be triggered using this trigger called schedule before end days. Similarly, there are certain triggers around sprints. Then there is an interesting trigger called webhook. Using this webhook trigger, what you can do is you get a, basically you get a webhook URL for this particular rule, and using that URL you can trigger that rule anywhere from anywhere outside. So this typical use case that our customers have been using it for, like for example, you have a deployment script with you, and what you want to do is as soon as your deployment is complete, you want to share trigger a rule in ARN which will actually publish your release notes, or it will publish some certain reports to the internal stakeholders. So what you can do is you can create a webhook for your rule in ARN and use that webhook within your deployment script. So as soon as the deployment script is executed, that webhook gets triggered in that script itself, and your rule in the ARN gets triggered. So no one has to look into anything here. Everything happens in an end-to-end automation process. So that's how different types of triggers can be used to trigger your rules in ARN, and the rules can publish your release notes or reports in multiple formats at one go.
I think this is the ease is, it at the depth, the kind of automation which is being supported by the app are really remarkable, I would say. I think it is going to, streamline the entire workflow and reduce the manual efforts which people need to take. So I think this is really going to be helpful for all the users. And the true meaning of end-to-end automation is really doing a justice to this entire automation process, I think. So
Correct.
as we approach the end of our discussion, let's talk about what's the future holds for this app. You know, as the app continues to evolve, what's there in the horizon next? Could you give us a sneak peek into, the upcoming features or updates that the users can look forward to in this app, and you can help us understand the same?
All right. So there are two ways that we are now focusing on. One is, of course, what we started a couple of months back. We rebranded our app, release
Mm-hmm.
notes and reports. So the template gallery will continue to grow and gets matured. So we'll get hundreds of such ready-to-use templates. So anyone who's using this app, even for the first time, they don't have to spend a lot of time, learning about the template building. They can just use those ready-to-use templates. That's what we are heading into. So you will see a lot of different types of ready-to-use templates available in the template gallery, and it will keep growing. So that's one track that we'll continue to focus on. So the reports, that the rebranding effort that we are focusing on, will continue to get attention. At the same time, our niche area, that is release notes, will continue to grow deeper. So like you must have realized that we have already introduced so many automation opportunities around this. The AI features will grow more mature enough. So like I mentioned, you will get a prompt gallery there. Within the rules as well, we are trying to introduce template gallery. So you will get some ready to use recipes where different types of outputs can be generated in a single rule. So just like the template gallery, you have ready to use templates, you will have some ready to use rules available in the rules gallery, which can be utilized out of box. That's one area that we are again heading. So all this even the dashboards, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to
Mm-hmm.
introduce a lot of new widgets there. Then there are certain reports that we are going to make available for admins to see the organization-wide data. So that's the effort where we want our users to be in the driving seat and drive all those activities in a sync. At the same time, we want to make it easier for our users to create templates, create rules, and start automating their day-to-day operations using this app. So that's one direction that we are heading into. At the same time, parallelly, what we are going to do is we are going to introduce a lot of new integrations,
Okay.
external integrations with the ARN. So, for example, recently we introduced integration with Slack, and it has picked
Correct.
up like many of our customers have started using it. Uh, on a large basis. So Slack is very popular app, but even more popular is MS Teams. So right now we are building integration with MS Teams, which will
Mm-hmm.
be available in a new feature maybe a month after this. Then similar to this, we are also now focusing on integration with some other apps, like there are, you know, WordPress is there. Many of our users maintain their websites on WordPress. You can
Mm-hmm.
publish a web page on your WordPress site directly via ARN. So
Mm.
then there's Notion is there. Many of the organizations use Notion for their document management system. So you can publish your documents to Notion via ARN. So all this template. Then we are also coming up with new templates for our release pages and widgets as well. So there are a lot of new interesting templates that are will be available to the release pages. So yeah, so in all directions, like all the modules of the app will see some interesting features in the near future. And like I mentioned, the core areas that we are focusing on is ease of use, where we want it very easy for our users to start using the app. Second thing we want to focus is on ease of data tracking, usage tracking for the admins and the managers. And the third one is uh, integration with lot more number of tools that our users are using, so that they can connect their third party tools like WordPress, Notion, or even we are also thinking about integration with Tempo timesheets app. So this type of integration that will be there in the near future.
That sounds promising. I think it looks like this was just a trailer and the entire movie is yet to, complete. And it's a long way to go for it. It's exciting to hear about the continuous innovation that's driving the entire product forward. As we wrap up, thanks, Sujit. Thanks for sharing such valuable insights with us. Thanks for going in every details. And it was really helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mithila, and have a nice day. Thank you.
I hope everyone found this session as informative and engaging as I did. The future of release management certainly looks bright with these new features and improvements. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing how these tools will continue to enhance your workflows. For more such videos, follow Amoeboid's YouTube channel, and also we regularly post about our innovations on our LinkedIn feed as well. Thanks for watching us. Thank you.